What's happening, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode, Ralph Gray Jr. Show. So glad to have you guys check in on this morning. If you're watching on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, it is just a pleasure to have you guys on. I know you guys could be watching or listening to anybody if you're listening to this on Spotify or a podcast. But the fact that you're listening and watching us is a great honor. We're back. We weren't here last week. I had to preach a funeral last week. I am a pastor, so I had to preach a funeral last week. But we are back today. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How you guys doing this morning?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. Janae, how are you?
I'm also doing fine.
Very good. Very good. Good morning. Jennifer Woodard says good morning. Michael Morton, good morning. What's going on, brother? Instagram Live, good morning. Good to see you guys. YouTube Live, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is January the 20th?
Mm-hmm.
Man, January the 20th, 2021. Hey, Richard Ponto, how are you this morning? And so today, right, we're going to talk about some good things. They got some great stuff going on. We're going to talk to my co-host here. But today's topic, so you can kind of share it, you can kind of spread it, and kind of tell folks. Today's topic is we're going to be talking about priority principles. Priority principles. I'm going to try my best not to sneeze. You ever feel a sneeze coming on? You ever feel that? You try your best not to sneeze.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about priority principles today. That's the topic. Priority principles. We're going to talk about when you smartly change your priorities, you give yourself the best chance to succeed. So we're going to talk about that going into 21. Kind of take control of your outcomes in 2021. But welcome. If it's your first time watching any of these platforms, IG Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. My name is Pastor Ralph Graves Jr. I pastor the Cornerstone Community Church in Millville, New Jersey. It'll be 15 years in January that we planted there, and bless the Lord, we're having a real good time. But I'm here with you guys today. I authored a book called Unstoppable. Janae, can you put that book up for me? I authored a book called Unstoppable, and if you haven't gone out and gotten Unstoppable yet, go ahead and purchase it. It's for sale right now. RalphGravesJr.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. It's everywhere. It's also an audiobook. It's also an audiobook too. So if you haven't gotten your copy, go ahead and pick it up. There it is for my IG people so you guys can see it. It's called Unstoppable, a Ralph Graves Jr. So anyway, how was your guys last weekend? I know we missed a lot. We're catching up.
I celebrated a birthday last Wednesday.
You did. Happy belated birthday. We were not able to do a birthday show for Janae because again,
because I'm a middle child is why. But
listen, and this not be any other middle children out there who think that the world is against them. Janae, my child, swears the world's against her.
Not the world. It's just you have to like fend for yourself. You have to just make your own path.
Why? Because
you celebrate yourself.
You're not the oldest and you're not the baby, so you got to fend for yourself. That's what middle children think.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not the case, though. I couldn't help it. We had a funeral. They whatever. But happy, we celebrate you, but let me celebrate you publicly. Happy belated birthday. How old did you turn?
I turned 29, so I'm almost 30.
Almost 30. Okay. So what you do for your birthday weekend?
I really didn't do anything anyway, which is pretty par.
Hey, Alana, how are you?
My fiance just bought me, we just hung out. So
yeah. Fiance, soon to be husband.
Yeah, like 12 weeks, something insane like that.
Yeah. Good morning, Diane Jones. Good to see you. Good morning. My cousin Alana Nicole is on Instagram Live. Good morning. Good to see you. We're talking about priority principles, but we had to pause and say happy birthday to Janae, my middle daughter, who believes she's being left out of everything. That should be the question of the day. Where are my middle children at? Hey, what's going on, Alexis? Where's my middle children, right? Do all middle people who are born in the middle, not the oldest, not the youngest, feel like they have to fend for themselves? I know Janae thinks that's the case. Kayer, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good.
Or your last week? Because we missed you last week too. How was it?
What did I do? Oh, it was a few of my friends' birthdays, so we just went to dinner and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jennifer Woodard said, "Oh, to be young again. Oh, to be 29 again." I hear you. I don't know. 29. I am who I am now. Married and 3 kids. So who knows? Um, Joyce Smith. Good morning. Good morning. So, okay, guys, we're talking about priority principles. And the reason why reason why we are talking about this is because we definitely want to change some outcomes. We do have control of some of the outcomes in our lives, and so we're kind of talking about some priority principles. When you smartly change your priorities or smartly change your priority principles, you give yourself the best chance to succeed. When you smartly change when you smartly change your priorities, you give yourself the best chance to succeed. What am I talking about? The best thing about resetting your priorities, you don't have to wait to be forced to do that. Okay, nobody has to force you to change your priorities. You can set your priorities before it's too late. Somebody once said that you need to be proactive about it. So we need to be proactive about changing our priorities. So here's point number 1, right? You have to acknowledge the following principles when you're changing your priorities. Like, think about the goals, think about where you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to get there, right? So we need to change our priorities. So don't wait until you have to change. We want to be proactive. So point number 1 is work smarter, because working smarter has a higher return than working harder. All right, let that saturate. Working smarter has a higher return than working harder. What are you talking about, Graves? Listen, doing the exact same things with greater intensity rarely makes a change. In my book, Unstoppable, we talked about, what do we talk about? We talk about the law of intelligent practice. And you can do the same thing over and over again with more intensity. Doesn't mean anything is going to change. I have to work smarter, not harder. The law of intelligent practice means that when you practice something or when you do something, do it with intelligence. Do it. Don't just fumble through and say, "Oh, I did it." All right. It's intelligent practice. It's working smarter, not harder. To get better results, you might have to rethink how you are currently doing something. I don't know what you're trying to look for results in. Maybe it's in weight loss. Maybe it's with managing or organizing your time. We're going to talk about that later on. But you may have to rethink how you do things. Maybe it's your budget. Maybe you don't, you make enough money, but always seems at the end of the month you don't have enough money. Maybe you have to rethink your spending, rethink your budget, right? Find better ways to work. Find better ways to make the most of the moments that you have. Working smarter has a higher return than working harder. You have to you have to understand that. Working smarter has a higher return than working harder. Disciplined use of your time, right? You have to have disciplined use of your time. I wrote this in my notes. Disciplined use of the time that everybody else is wasting can give you the edge. All right. Disciplined use of the time that everybody else is wasting can give you the edge. Work smarter, not harder. Guys, comment on that. What do you guys think about that? Think about. Go ahead, Janae. What are you about to say?
It makes me think of like the invention of like tools and stuff. Like, sure, you could work really hard by like manually like hitting spikes into a railroad.
Right.
And that works just fine, I guess. But it's way more efficient to have a machine that does it for you. Like,
sure.
Now your body's not spent, but the work is still getting done.
Yeah. What are some areas of your life where you think you could work smarter and not necessarily harder?
Well, I did start implementing those things by using the different free applications and stuff for social media posting. Like, now I schedule my posts ahead of time.
Yeah.
That the day of, the minute of, it's not like, oh, where's that post? It's already out there, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So like, I've worked smarter in how to get the content out there, but I'm not working as hard to remember to post it.
Yeah, there are tools you can use. Good morning, Deshauna Clark. We're talking about priority principles. We're talking about smartly changing your priorities to give you the best chance to succeed. What about you, Khayr? Have you found yourself in different areas where, you know what, I'm not going to work harder, I'm going to work smarter? That's the principle number one.
Oh, yes. Actually, all the time.
Mhm.
And I kind of think that's also a part of, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know as
Right.
well. Because I went very far with that in undergrad and grad school.
Yeah.
And just anything in life, if it's, looking for a new job or just opportunities having to do with, like, extra hobbies and stuff that
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
get into.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, that's definitely, it's an important priority principle. It seems boring to some. It seems like, oh man, I know that. But think about all of the time that other folks are wasting that you really could use as disciplined time to get the edge, to get ahead in what you're trying to do. Think about that. Think about some of the time. Think about all the TV that folks are watching, all the news that folks are allowing to worry them, all of the things where people get stuck. We all get 24 hours in a day if God's good to us. You can use that time and discipline yourself within that time, working smarter during that time to give yourself the edge. So priority principle number one is working smarter has a higher return than working harder. What do you guys say on Facebook or Instagram Live? What do you guys say? Hey, think about that. All right, we have a new segment that I want to introduce today. A new segment. Well, it's not really new. Is it new, Janae? Khayr, is it new? Because we didn't do it last week.
Yeah, I guess so.
We did it for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called, what's it called, Janae? Drum roll. What's it called?
It's called Our Sixth Sense, and it's basically our advice column of the show.
Okay.
So we find some anonymous questions, either sent to the show or, anonymous questions from other sources, and we'll just answer them.
What's the question today that wants my 2 cents and your 2 cents, Khayr's 2 cents, and anyone else listening's 2 cents? What's the question?
Well, this person has quit their job, and they're wondering if they should feel guilty about it.
I wonder if they did they quit it to do something better, or they just quit because they were lazy. I don't. Well, put it this way: if you quit your job because your answer, this is my 2 cents. I probably should let you guys go first. Go first, you guys. Hey, good morning, Fred Arthur.
Okay, I'll go first again. I've never felt guilty about quitting a job. Like ever. Like almost felt really good about it, like walked in on my day off. Everyone was surprised to see me. And I was just like, I quit. And then you just turn around and you walk away. Like, that's it. Like, I've never felt guilty about quitting a job. So, I mean, unless you weren't supposed to quit your job, like, I mean, more power to you.
Okay. What about you, Khayr?
Same. If I ever quit a job, it's because I just was so miserable there and it just wasn't for me. So it was like a huge relief.
Yeah.
I quit. But for anyone else, I guess it depends on why you quit, what your plan is or was. Like, what do you have for your backup? Are you going to follow a dream? So I feel like it depends.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, it definitely, I wish there was more to the question. We kind of knew more of the background. The question of the day, guys, the question that came in this segment, Our Sixth Sense, is, should I feel guilty about quitting my job? Well, not if you're a person of purpose, not if it didn't align with your goals, not if you knew that you were outgrowing and time to move forward. I would definitely have something going on before I quit, I guess.
Yeah. And you opened up a job for someone else. So
yes,
like you're helping other people when you quit your job.
That's the way to look at it. That's the way to look at it, I guess. I guess. So what do you guys say? Guys, chime in. Anyway, we're talking about priority principles, taking control of the outcomes in 21. And number one is we have to learn how to work smarter not harder. Working smarter has a higher return than working harder. Point number two is this. You can't have it all. You can't have it all. All right. When you are putting your priorities in place, you have to understand that you really can't have it all. Can't have it all. I believe that 95% of achieving anything is knowing what you want. All right. And before you achieve anything, what is it that you want? You have to answer that question specifically. You can't say, I want it all. That's not the way it works. What do you want? Right? What do you want? If you want to be a successful person as a leader, you have to make choices and you have to narrow your list. You cannot have it all. Nobody can have it all. What is it that you want? And you know what? So many people, hey, Gina Marie, have a beautiful day. She's on Instagram Live. So many people don't know or can't explain what they want, right? They can't explain. They can't explain it, what they want, and they really have to work it out. I was asked a few weeks ago to explain something, and it took me about 2 weeks to really iron it out and get it out. And now that I'm crystal clear on it, we're moving in that direction. But you can't have it all. So what is it that you really want? So we can now begin to line up the priorities that really line up with what you want and move in that area. Don't be so general and just say, I want it all.
Yeah, because like what is it all?
Right. What is it?
What is it all? And then when you say what it all is, you realize that's not even everything. So then you can go ahead and plan out how to reach those things.
Yes,
goals.
Exactly. You can't have it all. Learn to explain, learn to work out, learn to talk out what it is that you want. What is it? What is it? We're talking about priority principles. We're talking about taking control of your outcomes in 21. So the first step that I have to do, I have to work smarter. I don't have to necessarily work harder. I got to work smarter. And then point number 2 is I really have to narrow down exactly what it is that I want. What is it that I want? What do I want to achieve? What are the steps? What I want to achieve in every step along the way? Because I can't just say, oh, I want it all. A lot of folks got big dreams and big visions, and they forget that it's the little steps that get you to accomplish those big dreams and big visions if you're not taking care of the small things. And so you have to be able to voice that. What is it that you want? What is it that you want? Facebook Live, you guys are really interactive today, right? So type in there, what is it that you want? Because you can't have it all. Can't have it all. Somebody be very specific and because you have to get used to writing this down. You have to get used to, listen, I'm the guy that has been writing his goals down at least for 5 years. I've been every single solitary day. There's a certain sentence that I write down, and guess what? It's been moving to me and towards me since 2017. I know where I'm going to be in 2022. And I'm not going to be surprised to get there. I know exactly where I'm going to be because I now know what I want. So you can't have it all. So what is it that you do want? What is it that you do want? So be able to write that down. Today's question, should I feel guilty about quitting my job? Some folks on Facebook kind of answered that question. Jennifer Woodard, what did she say? Said, I think I would feel guilty if I gave 2 weeks notice and the next day never showed up. Okay, right? Frederick T. Arthur said this, quit with control. Try not to quit under duress. Exactly. Fred, what's that?
That's a good point because I'm thinking of like the jobs that I quit. I mean, I think it was both. Like,
right.
Control was I didn't need a job, and the duress was that I hated it there. So.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. You didn't need it and you hated it. I get you. Frederick also says on working smarter requires research, looking deeper into understanding your calling and your passions. Exactly, Frederick. You're on it. And here's the thing. Most people don't want to do the research. I think sometimes we just like to hear it. But working smarter does require research. How can I do this better? How can I be more effective at what I do? Is there a better way? Is there a way to reach more people, to have more impact? Thank you for that. Thank you for chiming in on that. Hey, what's going on, Mike Blandon, Flash Lewis? What's happening, brother? Happiness, achievement, and prosperity. Thanks for saying that, man. On Instagram Live, TCM81 says, work smarter, not harder, and find what you love to do. She agrees with that as well. So priority principles 1 and 2, work smarter has a higher return than working harder. But working smarter, like Frederick said, is going to take some research to work smarter. Has a higher return. Also in my book, Unstoppable, it's called The Law of Intelligent Practice. Okay. Point number 2 in your priority principles, you can't have it all. Be able to narrow down what you want. Mike Blandon says happiness, achievement, prosperity. All right. I would even challenge him to take that deeper. What would bring you happiness? What would make you feel achieving that you've achieved some things? What would bring you the prosperity that you want? Narrow that down even further if you can. Point number 3, this is what, and I'm kind of moving kind of fast. I'm gonna slow down after point number 3. I only got 5 points. Point number 3 is this: the good is always the enemy of the best. Good is always the enemy of the best. I just want that to sink in before I dive deep into that. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Most people can choose between good and bad, right and wrong. We could choose between that. But the challenges for us, they arise when we're faced with 2 good choices. That's when the challenge comes up. It's 2 good things on the table. And how do you know which one to choose? It's simple. As you become successful and busier, you have to learn to navigate between 2 good and worthy things. How do you choose? Remember that sometimes the good must be sacrificed for what is best. As you achieve and as you grow, you're going to have decisions that really aren't right or wrong. They're really not good and bad. You just got to choose what's best. You got to choose what's best. I remember telling the story, I think I told it in church, about the lighthouse keeper. And his one job, guys, his one job was to keep oil in the lighthouse, to keep the ships out at sea from hitting the rocks and sinking. That's it. He had one job, was to keep oil, keep the light burning. He had one job. And so it was a particularly harsh winter. Somebody came knocking on the door, a widowed woman with her child, and said, listen, can we just borrow some oil because we don't have any heat in the house? It was a good idea. He gave him some oil. The next day, someone came and said, can we just borrow a little more oil because my machine broke down? He thought it was a good idea. Eventually, he gave out so much oil that he no longer had enough oil to keep the light burning, and ships began to crash into the rocks. He had a good choice, but he didn't make the best choice. The best choice always must outweigh the good choice. The good must be sacrificed for what is best when it comes to your priorities. Listen, it's easy to pick out right and wrong. It's easy to pick out, between a good choice and a bad choice. But when you have 2 good choices facing you, will you have the courage to do what's best? Sometimes the good one has to be sacrificed. People don't like when leaders say no. But you're watching this program because you're leading. You're listening to this program because you're a leader. You're a budding leader, or you're leading. You're going to have to say no to some things. And it's okay to say no. Okay. So when you are prioritizing your principles, learn to say no to the good so that you can do what's best. Does that make sense, ladies?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, you guys, on Facebook, on Instagram? I hope that makes sense to you. Good is always the enemy of best. Thank you for saying that, Fred. I'm glad you love that story. I one of my favorites too. The good is always the enemy of the best. Deshauna Clark says on Facebook Live, she says this: the more you have, the more you want. Example, get a promotion, increase income. You will then acquire more increase in debt. Mindset of people needs to be, I have all I need, opposed to having it all. Exactly. Also, having it all is each person's perception of all. It could look different for everyone. Thank you for that. Thank you for chiming in, Deshauna. Always good to see you on the program, Deshauna. Oh, big supporter of the show. Thank you for chiming in. We're talking about setting your priorities. Also, we have a question out there, guys. Question out there. Should a person feel guilty about quitting their job? Maybe somebody has a story. What's that?
No. Well, that's our 6 cents question. That's our advice column question.
Oh, that's right. Our
question of the day.
Yes. Please introduce the question of the day. Here's the question of the day. I was wrong. Thank you, Janae, for correcting me. How do you channel your inner confidence, ladies and gentlemen? That's the question of the day. This is where we want you to jump in. I'm going to slow down on giving the priority principles. I only got 2 or 3 more left. How do you channel your inner confidence? Hey, if you guys watch this program, you see me drinking out of a mug that says the Ralph Graves Jr. Show. I only got about 12 of these left. I'm going to give them away free. If you want your free mug, come on and email me at ralph@ralphgravesjr.com. Send the address to where we can send the mug. Just email free mug. Hey, Ralph, I love a free mug. Hey, coach. Hey, pastor, whatever you call me. Hey, I love a free mug. And, put your address where we can send it, and we'll send you out a free mug. That a good deal? Kyrie, what do you think, Kyrie? Good deal?
Sounds great.
All right. And if you're wondering what I'm drinking my sour sop tea. Got a little lemon in it. But anyway, okay. How do you channel your inner confidence? How do you channel your inner confidence? That's the question of the day. On Instagram Live, TCM81 says, talk to yourself, encourage yourself, be your biggest fan. All right, very good. That's how she does it. Good. Oh, she also said, I want my free mug. How do you get one? Well, you have to email me at ralph@ralphgravesjr.com. Very simple. Ralph@ralphgravesjr.com. Say free mug and leave an address to where we can send it, and we will mail it out as soon as possible. Today, tomorrow, it'll be in the mail. You'll have a free mug. That's how you get a free mug. All right. So you get a free mug. Janae, I think it's time to go to break.
Okay.
We're going to go to break. We'll come back with the verse of the day. We're also going to come back. I'm interested to see how you guys are answering that question. How do you channel? How do you activate? Or how do you channel? What brings out your inner confidence? And then we're going to dive back into some priority principles. My name is Ralph Graves Jr. We will be right back after these messages. Thank you.
Revive Hydration is a proud sponsor of the Ralph Graves Morning Show. Revive Hydration is the first IV hydration and vitamin infusion service in the South Jersey area. For more details, please visit their website at www.revivehydration.com, or you can give them a call at 856-485-0070. Again, their website, www.revivehydration.com, or give them a call at 856-485-0070.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I am the author of this book called Unstoppable. Now, what Unstoppable is about is it's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. Why don't you pick up your copy today? Go to my website, www.ralphgravesjr.com. Go to Amazon. This book is sold wherever fine books are sold, anywhere in the country. My name is Ralph Graves. Let's be unstoppable together. Okay, we're back. The email address for the free mug is, answering Jennifer's question, Ralph@ralphgravesjr.com. Ralph@ralphgravesjr.com. Put in your address where you'd like me to mail it. I don't know if you want it, wherever you want me to mail it, we will send it out to you. That's how you get the mug. Okay. Frederick T. Arthur says this. He says, answering the question of the day, be careful of the external voices you are listening to. That's how he begins. That's how he channels his inner confidence. I like that. Be careful of the external voices you're listening to. Be careful of what you're allowing to come into your ear gate, your eye gate, So Jersey McFly or Jeezy McFly on Instagram Live said, I think encouraging yourself has to start with fighting the criticism in your own mind. Exactly. And some of us, we are worst critics. I put out a truth boost today. If you don't get my truth boost, go ahead and subscribe to it. It's you have to text. I forgot how to do it, Janae. Have to text C3E to the number 313131. And you'll get something from me every morning at 9 o'clock right on your phone. But I think today's truth boost, when I put it out, it said, what did it say? It said, if you're in a dark place, remember who you are. Get around your coaches, get around your close friends and mentors. Allow them to help you to get to the other side, because you will get to the other side. And so a lot of that has to do with, a lot of times we're in a dark place because of our criticism in our own mind. But at some point, you got to remember who you are. At some point, you have to know that God gave you the nod to be on this planet to accomplish something that only you could accomplish. And so we listen to programs like this. You got to listen to a encouraging podcast. You got to turn off some of this bad news. You got to, these are things that kind of really keep my confidence going. If you haven't, jump on over to Spotify or go over to the iTunes. And I have a podcast called The Unstoppable Podcast with Ralph Grace Jr. Phenomenal stories of people who could have quit and didn't quit. And that list is just growing. And that, thank you for supporting that podcast. That's really growing. Got some great guests coming on. I have some great stories. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. So they're not posted yet, but some great stories. People are asking for their free mug already. I'm getting notifications on my phone that people are getting want their free mug. Yes, you will get your free mug. Just email me there. Deshauna Clark says, channel your inner confidence. She says she keeps Philippians 4:13 on repeat. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Anytime I come across opportunities and or challenges, I speak that scripture and I move forward by faith, believing I can. It gives me that push, that motivation, encouragement to have the confidence to do. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, one thing is for certain, two things for sure. If you're a believer, we got the word of God to lean on and to not only lean on, but to really apply to our lives, and give us the courage to become who God has called us to become. Janae, what's the verse of the day, huh?
Okay. The verse of the day. Let me get a little ticker thingy. There we go. Okay. You have to know where your priorities lie to change them or make them work for you better. Look at Luke 12:34, which says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Where you spend most of your time and treasure are your priorities. If you don't like it, you can shift your focus and get back on track.
Very good. Very good. Listen, and I'm stuck on this inner confidence thing. I'm going to get back to the priority principles because I got some really good ones coming up. But I'm stuck on this because somebody has said that we have to be careful that our inner criticism, our inner voices, not knock us off course. There's inner voices, there are outside voices. Be careful what you're watching and what you're listening to. I'm talking about leadership here. I'm talking about being disciplined. I'm talking about spending your time wisely. Now, shout out to all my brothers and sisters who are journalists and news reporters, but understand this. They scour the globe to bring you stories that worry you. Think about that. They scour the globe to bring you news and information to keep you worrying. Because you can find just as many inspiring stories as you can find troubling stories, but whatever the case may be, I understand ratings and money, but you have to understand this. Worry takes you to a place of being immobile. Genuine concern drives you to action. So be careful what you allow to worry you. You find yourself depressed. You find yourself afraid to move. You find yourself locked in places. You find yourself missing opportunities. You find yourself not eating. No. So be careful when you're watching news programs. Be careful when you're watching or you're listening to certain radio programs. You have to have, yes, Najee Roberts, I see you. You get your free mug. There you go. It's Cheesy McFly. You have to be careful of what you're allowing to come into your mind, into your brain. Don't let it worry you. Frederick says worrying is the enemy of progress. You're exactly right. Worrying will stop you in your tracks. Worrying will stop you in your tracks. You have to be careful of what you allow yourself to intake. You have to make the best use of your time. Listen, hey, what's going on, cousin? My cousin Suzette chimed in on Instagram. You can spend hours watching TV. I'm not a TV hater, man. I'm not, but I don't, there's a place for it. There's a place for it. I know today is a big day in America, and the inauguration proceedings will be on from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock this afternoon. You know what kind of work you could be getting done? Discipline work that'll give you the edge rather than sitting in front of that tube from 11 to 3. That's just me talking. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help you to prioritize, but be careful of what you allow to come in. All right, that's enough there. Let me move on. Let me move on to my next point in priority principles. We talked about, and the reason why I'm talking about priority principles is because we're talking about taking control of your outcomes in 2021. I pastor a church. I love the Lord. And now one thing, understand this: God has given us dominion over certain things, right? God has given us dominion, and God has given us control over our responses. God has given us some dominion on how we use our time. So I can actually take control of some of the outcomes in 21. Point number 1 was learn to work smarter, not harder. Point number 2 was you can't have it all. Point number 3 was sometimes, good is the enemy of best. And sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice what's good for what's best. And point number 4 is learn to be proactive. Proactive beats reactive every time. Every time. Proactive beats reactive every time. Just remember it like this. Reactive means losing, right? The question to ask yourself isn't, will I have things to do? You're always going to have things to do. Instead, you have to say, am I doing the things that make a difference? To be an effective leader, you need to be proactive, right? In my opinion, you can choose or you can lose. Proactive means choosing. Reactive means losing. Somebody's always going to, and that was a good point for me. And I got to thinking when I wrote this down. Someone, people will call you and say, "What you doing today?" Right? I hate that. I've got a lot to do today. What is it that you need? I believe what you're doing today or what you're doing tomorrow night, it's a trick question, right?
Yeah. People trying to plan your day.
Yeah. They're trying to steal your time. Hey, can you watch my kids? Absolutely not. Can you help me move? I'm 52 years old. Here's what I can do for you. I can buy the boxes. I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest here. I'll feed your moving crew. All right. I have to make the best use of my time. So proactive means choosing, reactive means losing. So I don't even ask myself, will I have things to do today? Yes. I ask myself, will I do the things, or are the things I'm doing making a difference? There you go. That's what I wanted to say. I said all of that to say that. Yes, you will have stuff to do today, but are the things that you're doing making a difference? Let your day be full of things that are making a difference in this world. All right. Listen, I'm getting a lot of laughs and ha. Fred said yes. Because people will try to rob you of your day. Like the weekend will come. Hey, what you doing tomorrow? That's a loaded question. Why? What you need? I mean, I'm doing what makes the most impact. So unless what you have for me to do is not making greater impact on what I have planned to do, then I cannot join you in that. And that's not being mean. That's just, Frederick, just tell me.
If anything, it's also helping that person who it's like, well, you could plan your days a little better so that you're not last minute looking for random help.
Right. Yeah. And I'm all for helping people. But you knew you needed somebody to watch the kids a month ago. You knew you was moving. Don't call me the week. You know you got evicted. Don't call me 2 days prior.
I think back in college, in the student loan offices, like
Yeah.
there was always like a sign in one of the guys' offices that was like your lack of preparation, the lack of preparation on your end doesn't cause an emergency on my end.
Yes, and that was we had that in the police department. lack of planning on your end does not constitute an emergency. So listen, guys, proactive, not reactive. Okay, we're talking about our priority principles. Be proactive. Be proactive. Proactive beats reactive. Reactive means you're losing. You know why in football the defense is always a step behind the offense? It's because they're reacting. It's because they're reacting. The offense always has a better chance to score because they're proactive. They know the snap count. They know the play. They know what they're about to do. If everybody does it correctly, they should succeed in what they're doing. The defense has to react. And a lot of times we live such reactionary lives that we never meet and we never get to our goals because we're living and we're doing things that really don't have impact. Will you have things to do? Yes. But are you doing the things that make a difference? Remember, the point right before this point was good is always the enemy of best. There's some good things that are not going to make a difference like the best things will. All right. I'm just talking about priority principles. I mean, you live your life the way you want to live it. I'm just giving you some priority principles. All right. And yes, I'm not mean. I'm a nice guy, but you just, Fred, can you help me? You just don't tolerate the foolishness.
I think you talk about it in your book, Unstoppable. The law of the trade-off, because we talked about it last week.
Yes.
That is good is the enemy of the best. Like it's like
yeah.
The two options aren't bad, but one of them will get you closer to your goal and one of them will take you a little bit further away.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely right. That's called the law of the trade-off. Every time you do something, something else is left undone. That's the universal law. Like my book, I got 7 universal laws. The law of the trade-off is a universal law. Like I'm doing this show right now. That means something else is not being done. But I'm doing what is most impactful, what is making a difference. Every time you do something, there's a trade-off. Some of you will sit around and do nothing today. Well, you just traded off. You just traded something away. Just traded something away. So we have to do those things that make a difference. Kaya, you've been quiet today. What do you say about that? Proactive beats reactive. You're very proactive. I will say that. I have to say that about my staff. I mean to cut you off, Kaya, but you're very proactive. Half the time I say, Kaya, did you do such and such? Yep.
Yeah, I just feel like that's just me though. Like, well, first of all, I feel like if I don't do it right then and there, I'm going to forget.
Okay.
And then it's just, I don't know. I just can't wait. Like if someone asks me to do something, or even if I know I have to do something, even if it's not until next week, I'll just do it now so I don't have to worry about it. I just feel accomplished when I like get stuff done.
Yeah.
Like checking things off in a planner, like it just makes me feel very accomplished.
Yeah. Guys, to be effective leaders, you have to be proactive. I see my sister Dawn Moss checking in, very effective at what she does. You have to be proactive. Got to be proactive. Janae, go back to the question of the day. We got about 15 minutes before we got 15 minutes. Go back to the question of the day. How do you channel your inner confidence? How do you channel your inner confidence? That's today's question. What do you guys say on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Facebook Live? Thank you for being so interactive. YouTube Live, if you're watching, thank you for watching. Drop some comments in the YouTube section as well. How do you channel your inner confidence? How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you channel your inner confidence? Hey, that's my cousin Will just checking in. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking in. Trade-off and opportunity cost. That's right. That's economics 101. Exactly right. Exactly right. Trade-off and opportunity costs. It costs. But guys, how do you channel your inner confidence? When you wake up in the morning, are you confident, or do you step out of bed like, oh my God, another day? Like, go ahead.
I channel my inner confidence by kind of just remembering what other things I thought I couldn't do.
Yeah.
And then being like, well, I did that. This is slightly different, but I can still do it.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's almost like, it's not like an overwhelming sense of confidence, but it's like just enough to get started.
Okay. Yeah. I wake up confident every morning, man. I just hit the floor going. Again, too, as you mature in Christ, guess what? And as you really understand who Christ is, and you're in Christ, and he's and you have a relationship with God, man, you have this confidence that soars. Now, confidence is not cockiness. It's just that, hey, whatever life comes my way, like my number one law here in Unstoppable, the law of control. I'm in control how I respond to how things come my way. And so I want to respond and make sure I'm in the will of God. Become a creator. You're your own positive environment, creator of your own positive environment. Thank you. That's what Frederick says. Become the creator of your own positive environment. You know who your number one support system is? You. You're your number one support system. I know I got a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people working maybe from home, looking to do their own thing, maybe, but you're your number one support system. So you need to create your own environment, positive environment. You need to take care of yourself, take care of your body. I know Deshauna likes that, right? Deshauna, give me an amen, right? You need to take care of yourself, right? You need to. You're your number one support system. Before you can ask support from anybody else, you're your number one support system. So you have to have this inner confidence. The people that are listening to this program are crazy talented. I can't even get into some of the talents that I know that some of y'all have that are watching this program. And maybe you don't have the confidence in those talents, but God gave you those talents, those gifts. Use them. Put it out there. Put it out there. Create. You're in charge of creating your own positive environment. Be careful who you allow in your life. Be careful who you marry. Be careful who you date. Valentine's Day is coming up, right? I don't even want to get into that. But be careful of inviting people into your life that mess up your entire environment, and then you can't get rid of them. All right, let me move on.
I think another thing that could help your inner confidence is being excited about the challenge, like being excited about the next step or whatever. Yeah. And then because like right now I'm looking for a house, and I don't know what the process is, but I'm excited about it. Yeah. So I'm moving forward in it. I'm confident in going forward, but like, I think it's more excitement than confidence exactly, but like it's channeling my confidence because I feel excited to go forward in it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It does. That does make sense. That does make sense. But you're moving forward in it. Guys, real quick before I jump at the last point, if you haven't got your mug, the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, I have about 15 or 20 of these left. I'm watching the emails come in fast. This is a free mug. Email me at ralph@ralphgravesjr.com where you want me to send the mug. All right, we'll pack it up. We'll send you a mug out. Such a Ralph Graves Jr. Show. That's my gift for checking out the program today, whether on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, Facebook Live. Ralph@ralphgravesjr.com. Now, some of you I know be like, "Cuz, can I get my mug?" Now, unless you email me at ralph@ralphgravesjr.com. Okay, we're gonna keep this fair. And I will send the mug, put the address on where you want me to send the mug, and I will send the mug to you. Okay. Ralph@ralphgravesjr.com, and you get this. All right. Point number 5. And I waited for this. It was kind of I won't say a long point, but I need you guys to really understand this point. I believe I have the smartest audience on social media. So I know you're going to get it. Point number 5. Let me review. We're talking about priority principles, taking control of your outcomes in 21, right? Point number 1 was working smarter has a higher return than working harder. Point number 2 is you can't have it all. narrow down what it is that you want. Point number 3, the good is always the enemy of the best. You're going to have to sacrifice some good things for some best things. Point number 4, proactive beats reactive. All right. Point number 5. The important needs to take precedence over the urgent. What are you talking about? The important needs to take precedence over the urgent. The more responsibility you carry as a leader, listen to me carefully, the more you have on your plate. As you lead, we've heard the saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown. The more responsibility you carry as a leader, the more you have on your plate. The ability to juggle multiple high priority projects successfully is something every successful leader, every successful person needs to do. And so as the list of tasks grows, you can agonize or you can organize. All right. You got one or two. You can agonize or you can organize. I'm going to give you a quick example, an effective way to kind of classify the task and what I'm talking about here. The important needs to take precedence over the urgent. Here we go. High importance versus high urgency. Tackle, or not, I wouldn't say versus, but I'll say high importance things. Tackle these things first, right? If it's of high importance and high urgencies, tackle this first. If it's of high importance but low urgencies, set aside deadlines to fit that task into your daily routine. If it's of low importance but high urgency, find a quick, efficient way to get these tasks done with minimal personal involvement. This is where delegation comes in. Delegate some folks to do some things. I talk about delegating some things in my book, Unstoppable. If it has low importance and low urgencies, the task can probably be eliminated. You can get rid of them. If you need to delegate somebody to do them. If you have to do them, schedule a block of time every week to kind of chip away at these things, okay? Here's the bottom line, everybody, is that we need to understand the difference between important and urgent. And what's important, believe it or not, has to take precedence over what's urgent when we're talking about priorities, when we're talking about controlling some of the outcomes. There are some, and a lot of times we think things are urgent and they're really not. They're really not. But important is always important. It's always important. You guys understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound weird at first to hear it because you're like, oh, urgent. That means like emergency. Right. But that also does have a time like restraint on it. So it's like I get it, but I still have to like, think it through.
Yeah, because I'll go over it again. I'll go over it again because we got some time. Let me go over it again. This is a very important part when we're talking about taking control of your outcomes in 2021. All right. Hey guys, man, I'm getting free mugs all over the place. All right, let me run it to you again. Run it by you again. High importance. If it's high importance and high urgency, tackle it first. You have some things today. When you take a list of your things, you have some things that are high importance and high urgency. Take care of those things first. If it's high importance and low urgencies, set deadlines for completing that task. All right? Set deadlines to do that. If it's low importance and high urgency, find quick, efficient ways to tackle it without or with minimal involvement in it. This is where delegating some things to be done. Okay. I don't know. You're a cook or you work in the cooking field. You're a line cook. Okay. It's important that you get this overall meal done, but it's urgent that you take the fries out of the fryer. Get somebody to take the fries out of the fryer and get the rest of the meal done. You follow what I'm saying? Okay. So now if it's low importance, low urgencies, they can almost be eliminated. Or give the task to somebody else or take steps to kind of chip away at it slightly each and every day.
Yeah. But it's like why it's important to have a team.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, and you have to have a team, guys. And I'm fortunate enough to have a team. I'm
Or
fortunate.
crazy skills.
What's that?
Like, if you don't have a team, hopefully you just got like crazy skills to be able to put all these things.
Well, I also want to say this. Before I had a team, there are things that can be your team. There are people that can be your team. Remember Fiverr? Anybody remember Fiverr? Fiverr.com. You guys, I'm gonna tell you a little secret, right? Tell you a little secret. My very first commercial for my first book, Get a Life, people love that commercial. My team was Fiverr.com. I paid $25 for somebody over in India to do a commercial for me. That was my team. That was working. Guess what that was? It was working smarter, not harder. You see what I'm saying? You see where we're going with this today? You see where we're going? You have a team. You have a support system. You just look around. Just look around. You have mentors. Some of my mentors I've never met. You think, what do you mean you never met? I read their books. So they mentored me. So we're talking about controlling some outcomes for 21. You can control some of your outcomes for 2021. But guess what? You got to jump in and participate and be part of the miracle that you're asking God to give you. Be part of, be part of walking in that destiny. Be part of it. I don't know, guys. Was it okay today? Did I make it clear? Mm-hmm. George Smith said, Pastor, you're all in my backyard. I tend to have that do it myself to avoid the aggravation. Yeah, when you have a team, until you find the perfect team, there will be aggravation involved. There will be aggravation involved. But you know what? When people see you making an impact, people see you making a difference, people want to get involved with the difference that you're making. And be honest with them and tell them, listen, I know your time is precious to you. This is what I'm doing. Would you want to run alongside me, even if it's just for 4 hours today, 2 hours today? Could you complete this for me? Then as you grow, then you'll be able to pay a team. Then you'll be able to sow a seed into their lives. Guys, I hope it was good. I don't know. Just trying to give you some priority principles. Thank you for the love on Instagram Live. Thank you, PR Panther, for all the hearts and whatnot. You guys are great over on IG Live, Facebook Live. You guys are always a wonderful audience. YouTube Live, thank you for checking in and being so kind and gracious. So I hope these priority principles have blessed you today. I hope you'll go forward. Now let's review real quick. I got 3 minutes. They are this: work smarter has a higher return than working harder. You cannot have it all. Learn to narrow down exactly. Learn to be able to break down exactly what it is that you want. Good is always the enemy of best. Some good things will have to be sacrificed on the altar of better things. Proactive beats reactive. Remember, proactive means choosing. Reactive means losing. Okay? Proactive is choosing. Reactive is losing. And number 5, the important needs to take precedence over the urgent. Guys, my name is Pastor Ralph Graves Jr. Now, most importantly, all of this, I want you guys to really get this and understand this. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Above all that we talked about, it is my hope that you allow Jesus Christ to become your Savior and become Lord of your life. If you don't know how to do that, you can also email me at ralph@ralphgravejr.com. You can email us over at Cornerstone Community Church at c3ecornerstone.net. We're everywhere. I'm everywhere that you can be found on social media. Remember, if you want my mug, go ahead and get it. Tell me that you want the mug. Buy my book, Unstoppable, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com. And I have 1 more minute to say this. We have a program coming out called the Gulfstream Way. Michael Blandon, a couple other people have shown interest. It's launching in March. My team is putting it together. If you want to be a part of the Gulfstream Way, that leadership program, if you want to find out the cost of being part of that, email me. And when the packet comes out, we make sure you'll get everything. And hopefully you can be a part of that. We're only taking about 10 people at a time. All right, I'm taking about 10 people at a time, but we're launching the 1st of March. Guys, have a wonderful day. Ladies, any final thoughts?
Have a great day.
Same, be productive.
And listen, thank you for that. Guys, have a wonderful day. Be productive. Share this post. Tell somebody about it. My name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'll see you next week at 10 a.m. right here on Wednesdays. All right, everybody. God bless.